Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a really quick peek here at Bitcoin, and just know I'm not a financial advisor. Love teaching people how to trade, and this is my day job. So if you want to learn a little something, feel free to join my trading community. I have a trading academy rolling out with month end with our website platform. Going to be an awesome experience. Now, before we get there, of course, obviously, just kind of preface here with Bitcoin. Not much has happened in the last 24 to 48 hours, right? We see two Doji candles essentially. Granted, this recent candle hasn't essentially closed yet, but a Doji candle usually implies indecision or perhaps, in some cases, even a reversal. So with us having a green day here, we could potentially see a red day soon. My speculation is more so red, just based on the simple fact that we've got the traditional week coming up here. There's going to be some profits being taken from the last 48 hours, essentially what happened on Friday. And I still believe that this death cross is going to continue to push the price action down a little bit further. Plus, there's a lot going on with the leverage and a lot of back end stuff that you can't truly see. So just take my word for it. There does feel like there's going to be a little bit longer of a time frame here before we see Bitcoin recover. Okay, and what I mean by that is if we just kind of go back to the previous time frame in which Bitcoin sold off, this pattern right here that's forming is very similar to this pattern here, and ultimately it takes a while for Bitcoin to recover, and we saw that happen back here where the price continued to decrease even further than we expected. I feel like we're going to probably see a test down again to about 39,500, maybe even closer to about 40,500. Possibly 37.5 too, right? That we can't, put that out of the equation. That very well could happen. So ultimately, big picture, I do feel like we're going to see some type of a sell-off or correction from Bitcoin in the immediate future. Not to say it's going to hold down forever, but I think it would be necessary considering the circumstances here and the fact that it takes a little while for this to occur. It's because if we look at this time frame here, we are pretty much right at this point here. And there's a good chance we'll probably see the price action continue to digress and then eventually come back up after it's tested the key level support. I know that's a terrible drawing. I hope you understand what I mean by that. But this right here in this scenario is very similar to this. And we still got this extra leg down. I feel it will happen. Again, most of it has to do with leverage and the perpetual contracts, a lot of different scenarios that are kind of on the back end. But for right now, just kind of looking at the charts, it does feel very similar to that previous pattern. I don't think we should expect a breakout anytime soon. But again, we could see, of course, a slow progression on the upside. The key takeaway here is that we need to break 46,000. That's like the key level resistance. It was a previous support, now a resistance. And at this point, we got to kind of break a few different levels, right? So to touch on that, let's go ahead and kind of get right into the TA here. No speculation aside. We're looking at 44,400 as a key level resistance for the immediate. That is essentially a Fibonacci retracement level. And you can see the price was tested twice in a row and got rejected, and it hasn't come back ever since. Now, not to say it won't, but if it does come up and reject again, then we can consider the price to kind of continue to digress. If it breaks that plane and continues to progress upwards to 46,000, we should expect to see some resistance there as well. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at the volume, kind of see where it's at. Now this is basically just as of December 1st. We've got a tremendous amount of volume right around 47,300. Okay, so again, we've got resistance at 44,400, resistance at 46,000, and of course a 46,400 approximate volume profile where the majority of the volume is accumulated between 47 and 49,000. Okay, those are all notoriously known to be very strong resistances. And it's just something to be aware of, right? So again, I'm not bearish on Bitcoin per se. I do feel like it will recover. I just don't think it's going to recover as quickly or as fast as a lot of people are expecting or wanting, okay? And we're getting a lot of these, these false pauses where we get a couple of nice little green days and everyone gets excited. And then of course we get a sell-off the day following. So I wouldn't be surprised we see a couple more green days and then a potential red day sell-off midweek. It could even happen a lot sooner than that. But we don't have any confirmation that Bitcoin is in the green or that has a reason of breaking those key level resistances. And until we get confirmation above those levels, at least a one-day candlestick close above 46,000, I'm not going to be super confident. Okay, there's a reason why we have a short trade position open with the community based on the simple sentiment that that Bitcoin doesn't have a lot of and it just looks pretty weak right now. Okay, so looking at that weakness here, just to kind of reiterate that we're looking at, we're still under 50 on the RSI. I do feel that once we break past 46,000, we will see an RSI above 50, and that would be a good sign, right? So we're not there yet, but we're, I guess you could say, trending sideways towards it. The good thing is right now is we're building a good foundation of volume. The more volume we have at 43,000, the better we're going to be when the price continues upwards. It'll have that support. And it's building that support right now. You can see this pretty much straight sideways action for the last 48 hours. Literally nothing has happened for Bitcoin, which is a very strange thing, but it makes sense considering the weekends, the whales are not necessarily manipulating the market. And of course, regular traders like ourselves are a little apprehensive about jumping in. And that's usually what influences the price action positively over the weekend is when, the layman, so to speak, is investing. So taking a look here at the RSI on the 4-hour, this is, I guess, a silver lining. Just basically telling us that 43,000 is a pretty, I would say, a consistent support level on the midterm. In other words, when we see the price right around 50 on the RSI, we can see the price is staying above 43,000 on the price action. The 50-day SMA is also working as a nice support here as well, so that could impact things positively. Keep the price action going sideways, then we can continue to slowly make legs up to to eventually break 44,400 as the first immediate resistance, and then 46,000. Okay, so again, it's just a small handful of things to kind of pay attention to. Looking at the 1-hour chart, we can kind of see. Well, hold on. Let's see if we can find anything actually at all, because there's probably not going to be a lot when you have straight consolidation, just sideways action. Not a lot of indicators are going to give you a breakout, potential. You're not going to see a tremendous amount of breakout. And here on the micro, so to speak, the short term, we can see the Ishimoku clouds not giving us any buy signal or sell signal, so it's pretty much neutral. TD sequential, we're getting a bunch of resets here as well. We came up to a 7, down to a 9. And upwards of, down to a 3 to up to a 4. So literally nothing to celebrate there as well. So all in all, Bitcoin has not a lot going for it right now. I feel like there's more bearish than bullish indications. And if we look at, again, the small time frame, the 4-hour, it's hanging on by a thread, for lack of better terms, where we have the RSI barely holding on at 50. And the more often you test a resistance or correction of support level in this case, the more likely it is to break. So the fact of the matter is the price is trying to come down and it hasn't yet. And unless it can break 44,000 in one of the next few pushes, we aren't going to really see a lot of, upward momentum from Bitcoin. I'm still bearish on Bitcoin for the next week or two. And until it can prove us wrong and get strong above 44,000, just say 500, 44.5 is a round number, and more specifically 46,000, there's literally no reason to feel like we are in the clear just yet. It just kind of seems like standard behavior for a price that's been, consistently reduced over the past couple of months, right? So I know we're expecting and we're hoping for the price to come up, but try not to get too ahead of yourself just yet. Yes, there's a couple of small altcoins pumping, the good coins that have really strong fundamentals. Perhaps you want to consider dollar cost averaging there. You could consider dollar cost averaging here as well. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad price point. Obviously, Bitcoin will be higher value eventually someday. I know that. It's just that right now, I wouldn't recommend investing a full bag into, pretty much any coin, right? That's why you diversify. You invest small percentages of your portfolio, 3 to 5% in most cases, as a best case scenario for swing trades. These are all things that I cover in my Trading Academy, which once again will be available month end. But at this point, I would just recommend being very conservative in the sense of the fact that we're not out of the clear yet, and we don't have any definitive signs that it wants to progress upwards. But also no amazing signs it has to progress downwards either, right? We're kind of just at this defining point where it can literally go one way or the other. I'm still more bearish just based on the big picture. The 1-day chart doesn't really tell us a lot of bullish sentiments, more so I guess you could say bearish. And to me, I don't really see a lot of strength in Bitcoin right now. Okay, and that's going to influence a lot of other altcoins. But again, the more stability we have from Bitcoin, like we're seeing right now, keep this in mind, this is a positive thing in a sense. Just say that Bitcoin gives us 5 more Doji candles the rest of this week, which is unlikely, but if it happens, then we'll be in a position where a lot of altcoins will start to spur, start to take off. And then we can start looking at some nice swing trade potential, as well as some, even some good, nice signals that we have, again, through our community. So again, some really cool stuff there. So I appreciate your patience if you're currently a community member. We're not sending out a tremendous amount of signals right now. And the main reason why is just because we gotta kind of sit tight. And that's what being a good trader is, right? I just want to kind of reaffirm that. Good traders are those who do not overtrade, right? Overtrading is a significant problem in a beginner market. So please understand that, the fact that we're making less trades right now is actually perfectly fine. We just got to wait for that confirmation. And truth be told, Bitcoin, unless it can pass 44,000 or or sorry, 44,400 or 46,000, we're not going to be out of the woods. All right. I don't know how many times I can reiterate that, and I apologize to sound like a broken record. So anyways, that's about everything I have here today, of course. Not much else to really know. No need to go in circles. Bitcoin is just pretty much, Doji candle 2 days in a row. It's a complete state of indecision. And at this point, we kind of got to wait to see what the whales decide they want to do in the next 24 to 48 hours. So just be a little more patient. We'll be all set and good to go. We should likely be able to resume our signals later this week if we get just, again, a little more confirmation from Bitcoin that it's not going to go down. That's the key level here. Higher highs and higher lows on the midterm at the very least is what we need. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.